Hey everyone, we're going to start with our warm-up. We've got 30 in-place bear crawl, 20 air squats, 10 hamstring pulls, and then a stretch. You're going to go through the movements 2 times and then do the stretch at the end. So for the bear crawl, in place, you're going to be in a condensed plank. Make sure your knees are right underneath your hips and your stomach is really close, pulling that in towards your spine. Opposite leg and opposite arm. Come forwards and back together. So this is going to be 1 rep. You're going to go forwards and back on each hand 30 times total. And then hop up into 20 air squats. And when you're done with those, you'll finish out with 10 hamstring pulls. So in a hollow position, shoulders up off the mat, 1 leg hovering. Try to keep your legs straight, pulling in above your knee towards your forehead. When you finish that, work through those exercises 2 times. Then you'll go instep into pigeon. So plank, pulling up your hand to the left side, trying to drive that knee out, stretching out through your hip, really long spine. From there, bring your foot across into a pigeon stretch, trying to work so that opposite hip is coming down, your front leg is staying parallel. So your first part is a 20-minute EMOM. There's 5 exercises. You're going to work through them all 4 times. I'm just using 1 heavy weight for this. If you have more weights at home, you can mix it up for all the different exercises, but try to go heavy on it, like make it burn. You're going to start out with 8 each side, goblet side lunges. So starting with the weight up by your chest, you're going to step out to one side, keeping your inner leg really straight and that foot on the ground, and then driving up off of your right heel. Make sure that you're keeping your chest up, sinking into your butt. Try not to hinge forward and come over there. And then we've got 20 weighted sit-ups. So again, you can use different things for this. I'm just using the same dumbbell. Make sure your hands stay stacked over your shoulders through the whole movement. And you're pushing your head through the window. At the top, come down with control. 3rd minute is going to be 10 on each side, single arm floor press. So at the bottom, make sure your shoulders are tucked down underneath, you're not driving up, and your elbows staying onto your wrist. Don't let your wrist come inside or outside of that elbow. Punching up towards the ceiling, stacking your wrist right over your shoulder at the top. 10 on each side of those. The 4th minute is going to be 20 dumbbell pull-throughs. So setting up in your plank position, reaching underneath, pulling that weight without letting your hips move, so keeping them still as possible. You can bring your legs together to make it harder, or take them out wider to keep your hips more stable. Then you're going to finish up with 15 Frogger squats for the last minute. So for the Frogger squat, you're going to have your heels elevated, which is going to give you a little more depth in your range of motion. If you don't have a plate at home, get like a book, something that's 2 inches, I don't care, just find something that's 2 inches and put your heels on it. Toes are going to be slightly out towards the side, so not a full 45 degrees, but slightly more narrow, still pointed out. 15, keeping those chests up really tall, dropping in your butt for those. So those are all 5 exercises. Work through them 4 times. Again, it's an EMOM, so you're not moving on to your next ones until that full minute's up. Should have about 15 seconds of rest each time. So our second part is a 12-minute EMOM. We've done this at the gym before, so hopefully it brings you back to like beautiful memories of being in pain. You've got 6 movements. You're going to do them all twice. Essentially, you're going to work through core, legs, and arms for a minute. In this case, we're actually doing just a full minute of work and then switching right away. So you're not going to have a rep count for it. Just every minute switch movements. You're doing a core movement and then a hold for the core, and then a leg movement and then a hold for the legs, and then an arm movement and then a hold in your arms. So we're going to start off with a diver sit-up. So starting all the way down, throwing up, and then lowering down as slow as you can. Making sure when you come down, your low back stays connected, your arms come all the way out. You throw up. If you have trouble getting your back down, you can keep your knees up over your hips. From there, the second minute, you're going to go right into a boat hold. So roll your shoulders back, lift your knees up in line with your heels, and you're trying to open up. If you feel your hip flexors, your quads rather than your core, bring your heels down and lean back and try to find that core engagement and try to relax the hip flexors. Then we're going to go next to lateral walks and a squat. So for the lateral walks, you're going to be in that low squat position, hips in line with your knees, stepping out 3 steps to the left, 3 steps to the right. So we'll be here for a minute. When that timer goes for the 4th minute to start, you're just going to stay in that squat and hold for a minute. Make sure your back isn't arched out. So tucking your hips down, keeping your core engaged. Last 2 minutes, we're going to do palms to elbows and then plank. So starting in that same plank position as the dumbbell pull-throughs, down to your elbows, and then back up. Alternating which hand goes down first. Make sure you're keeping those hips still, so we're not twisting the body as you're coming up. Keep your hips engaged. Both hip bones pointed at the floor the whole time. And then the last minute is going to be a plank. On your forearms, try to relax your palms down. Push your toes to your elbows or over your shoulders. Your last thing today is a 20-rep core finisher. You've got 20 reps of everything. 2 of the movements are side movements. You'll do 20 reps on both sides. So you're going to go push-ups, Superman's Russian twists, side V-ups, alternating atomics, thread the needle, and push-ups. Again, 2 sets of 20 push-ups. So push-ups, hands underneath your shoulders, hips and shoulders coming up and down at the same time. Go onto your knees. If you need that from there, you'll go into 20 Supermans. Try to pull your shoulder blades back, away from your ears, and squeeze through your glutes. Bring your heels up. Switch over into 20 Russian twists. Unweighted. Control the movement and rotate through your shoulders as well, so not just through your arms. Then we'll go 20 side V-ups. Make sure your hand is out forward. When you're out here, you don't have the right leverage or movement pattern. So hand out in front. Bring your elbow up towards your knee, squeezing them as close together as possible. On each side, 20 of those. After that, we're going to go into 20 alternating atomics. So opposite hand coming to opposite leg. And then 20 thread the needle and 20 push-ups to finish. So on your side plank, arm up, drive that bottom hip up away from the ground. Rotate toward bringing the top hip down. Coming back up, even as you rotate down, still drive that bottom hip up and away, and then fully open up. Make sure your hips don't drive backwards into the C position. So push the hip bones forward so you're a full line, and then 20 push-ups to finish.